What's up, everybody? It's Mark here. Today I'm gonna do a video response based on the accelerator rifle. So what we're gonna do it on is how to modify your 9-round magazine. And what I did was I took my 9-round magazine and made it a 10-round magazine. And it was pretty simple. I'll show you how to do it. So let's start. The first thing you want to do is get all your tools together. I got my first tool, some beer. I went through a couple already. Don't judge me. It's the smart man's tool. Every great idea comes from beer, for the most part. So first thing you're going to need to do is get your mag, your thumb key, sandpaper, palm sander, some kind of abrasive, a good one, and you'll find out why. A flat-headed screwdriver. Don't use a good one. Use a cheap one. It generally works out a little bit better, so that way you can nick up your cheap one and not ruin it. A sharp knife for the people who want to carve, which is also a very good thing, and a multi-tool Allen wrench. I like to stick with the number 3 for this, but you know, other people have different preferences. So the first thing you want to do is you want to empty out your mag. So let's do that real quick. And I'm going to show you that I have 10 rounds in here. So let's pop out the first couple 10, and we'll get started right after that. So here's your number 3 Allen wrench. There's round number 1. Round number, no, it's getting stuck. That's one of the big issues with the accelerator magazines. Round number 2. Round number 3 is getting stuck too. Round number 4 is getting stuck. Round number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Oh, it's always good to have extra thumb hole. Number 10. Alright, so everybody who really is a pain in my ass, I'm going to show you that I have 10 rounds here. I don't know if you can see it from there, but I'll walk you through it real quick. Give me 10 seconds. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I went from a 9 capacity magazine to a 10 capacity magazine. Alright, so set those aside. Next thing you want to do is get your magazine and analyze it. So pretty much what we're going to do is we're going to take this end cap off, the end cap to the magazine. So for everyone who looks at the magazine, you see that there's an end cap key to it. What you want to do is you want to press on that key and slide out the bottom of the magazine. And that's exactly what we're going to do. The best thing to do is use a size 3 Allen wrench. You can use your thumb hole key, but you don't get as much leverage with it. So let's take our size 3 Allen wrench and work that key just a little bit outside of its lock. Alright, so we're going to do that right now. You're going to have to give it a little bit of a push, and then you want to push it towards the back of the magazine. So once you do that, you want to give it a little bit of a wiggle and see how far you got. Well, mine's not wiggling too much. This is where your cheap Phillips or flathead screwdriver comes in. Now when you do this, make sure you follow my steps. So I got a little bit off center, and now I'm going to take my flathead screwdriver and work it a little less than halfway through the end of the magazine. Alright, so once you get this far, which is a little bit less than halfway, this is what you want to do. Don't pull a rookie move and do what I've done 1,000 times. You want to put your hand over the end of the magazine and pull the end cap to your magazine. And if you want to know why, there's a high tension spring that sits in the circular part, and it'll shoot out and it'll shoot all your pieces all over the place. You do not want that. Alright, so take your hand, put it over it, slide it out. Alright, so there's part number 1. That's the end cap to your magazine. Part number 2 is your end cap magazine key, and it looks like this. Alright, it's pretty important. So if you're not sure of yourself, always point towards a wall, inside of a box. Don't point towards yourself or the ceiling, because you'll lose your magazine key really quick. So the 3 main parts are your spring, which is a high tension spring, your magazine end cap, and then your magazine end cap key. Make sure you have all 3 of those parts before you continue on. If this spring shoots out and you lose one of the pieces, look for one of those pieces. You don't want to continue on without any of those. So the next thing is, my magazine's upside down. This is normally how it feeds into the gun, is this way. So take out your orange piece. Make sure that when you're looking at it, if this is the top of the magazine, that you can't fit this in this way. So you want to take your magazine, make it flush, get an idea where your magazine, the angle that everything should be. Take one of your rounds, depending on how much you want to put in there. If you want to put 2 extra rounds in there, you want to take the top, figure out the angle of the bullet, which isn't hard, and then you want to put it on the bottom and mark it with your knife or a permanent marker. So if you want 2 rounds, you got to take 2 rounds and physically find out how much extra room you're going to need to get those 2 extra rounds in there. Alright? Right now this is a little biased because I already have 1 extra round in there. So if I want another extra round, I got to make it sit like this. Now I haven't done 2 extra rounds. So if this is a 9-round mag, I haven't done 11 rounds in 1 mag. I've done 10. Either way, it depends on how far you want to take it. The rounds are on eBay for like 36 bucks. If you can't find them, email me. I'll buy it and then I'll send it to you via PayPal. PayPal only. Alright, so next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that the circular part is at the top, and you want to sand down this bottom piece according to where you marked it. So let's do that real quick. You set everything aside, and then you take your orange autoloader and you start sanding it down. If you have a palm sander, that'll work great. If for the people who want to chisel, chisel out slow, then sand it down to a fine finish. But I've already done all that. So I'm going to sand it down to a little bit finer finish, and then we're going to work from there. So that's what you want to do. Just make sure that, this is 100% level this way, no curve, and you don't want any curve this way. So in order to do that, you have to really take your time and pay attention to all your details. So if you're sitting like this, you're like, all right, it's done. It's not gonna work. So what you want to do is you sand it down, you do what you can do it, and then you check it. Like, all right, well, it's a little to the left. Let's make it a little to the right. It's not hard. It doesn't take a genius to be able to do something like that. All right. So next thing you want to do after you sand it down to where you want it, get all of the sandpaper residue, the orange residue off it. If you have one of those it kind of looks like this, but when you press on it, it shoots out air. They charge you like $5 for a can of that. Whatever. Just make sure you get all the residue off of it. Then it's time to put the magazine back together. So you set everything aside, make sure your surface is clean, and put everything back together the way that you took it apart. And it's pretty simple. The only hard part is getting that spring in. So you get that to the end. You flip it upside down. The spring that you got needs to go in the circular part, the only spot that it fits. Alright, so if you look at that, it hangs over a lot. This is the tricky part. This is probably the trickiest part of the whole thing. So you leave the spring hanging over, then you take your end cap to your magazine, and the end cap key, which is this. I don't know if you can see that very well, but what you want to do is you take the end cap and the end cap key, and you want the end cap key to point towards the most narrow part of your magazine end cap. You point it this way and your magazine's not going to sit right at all. It's going to be uncomfortable in your gun. It's not, I mean, I don't know the actual issues with it, but I've always done it right 100% of the time. So get your end cap key sitting in the end cap properly. Nice and straight, just like so. Then what you want to do is hold it. I mean, depending on what your hand you are, you want to take your dominant hand and push down the spring. So what works for me is, you see that circle for the end cap key? You want to get the spring to sit damn near close to that. So that's what we're going to do. And then you want to feed it back in. So if you look, I'm going to take this spring and I'm going to put it right on the circle of the end cap key. But I'm going to do it maybe with 1 or 2 coils, and that's all you want to do. So it's going to take a little bit of maneuvering, but you should be able to do it. It's going to, I mean, if you haven't done this as many times as I have, it's going to be a pain. So make sure you spend the quality time to do it right, and do it right the first time. Alright, so as soon as you get it partway in there, you're not going to be able to push it with your hand. So what you want to do is you want to take your Phillips head screwdriver, which has got a rubber handle, if it comes with a rubber handle, and you want to give it a couple of taps. And you want to work it back to the end of the end cap. And make sure that spring is sitting in there properly. Which, you know, it's going to take a few tries. If you can't get it the first try, don't be aggravated. It took me many times to get this video right. Alright, so now everything's sitting in there appropriately. Next thing you want to do, I've already done this, so make sure you do this right. Your thumb keyhole, you're going to need a really thin drill bit to do this. So make sure it's the same diameter. Yep, same diameter as your thumb keyhole. It's going to be a pain in the ass to find out which one it is, but do not fuck this up, because the space in between there is all you got. You don't have any more, you don't have any less. So what you want to do is you want to take your first round and feed it in there. You get your original thumb key hole. This is your thumb key. You put it in there and you pull down. You want to sit the magazine back towards you and down, so that way the actual ammo sits properly on the autoloader. So say I put on 2, 3, 4. Alright, so say I put in 5 rounds, which is half of what I got. You notice I got my thumb key hole and then another hole. That additional hole is where I drilled. So that's where you kind of want to drill. It's maybe 1/8 of an inch above my original hole, and that's where you want to put it. And I'll tell you why. This is a 9-round capacity magazine, so let's see what happens when I try to put 10 in the original hole. That's 6. That's 7. That's 8. That's 9. Alright, this is the original capacity of the magazine. So when I would try to put 10 in, if you pay attention, this thumb key hits the bottom of the feeding hole, the slot. Well, I can't put any additional rounds in there, and that's going to cause an issue. This is where your second thumb key hole comes in place. Once you put it in there, you pull down, and boom, you can fit an additional round in there. If you take it to 11 rounds and you put it exactly where I put it, you can get 11 rounds in there with the same thumb keyhole. So that's how you modify your mag. If you're not sure if it's going to actually cycle through your mag, let's do that real quick. I'm not going to shoot, but I'll cycle through the mag. Alright. Everything's loaded. Safety is on. So let's go through the magazines real quick. Alright, that's feed 1. Obviously, the reason I'm pulling back it additionally is because I don't have that simple force of feeding the extra rounding. Nope. Oh, sorry guys. The inertia of the bullet will do this for you. See, there we go. And that was the last one. Alright? So that's how you modify your Excel Arms accelerator rifle magazine. If you guys have any issues, please contact me because I can walk you through it. It's not going to be a big deal. If you guys have any questions, make sure you comment, like, inbox me. I know what I'm doing, so I'm not going to fuck this up. Alright? Other than that, please like, subscribe, and keep giving me videos to make. I really appreciate you guys' your support. And other than that, fuck yeah. Rock on America. Alright guys. See ya.